Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. My name's Campbell. My channel is called Autodidactic, and I've been researching alternative history basically since my teens really, and then came across Tartaria and star forts and mud flood and all this kind of stuff back in around 2015, I guess. Yeah, sort of 5 years later, I just found a star fort and made a video, and here I am still, right? 5 years later making videos. So I'm not sure what level everyone's at, but I just thought I'd start just showing a few maps of Tartaria. Like, what is Tartaria? And why have you not heard about it if you haven't? Basically, Tartaria was a country, I guess we would call it, an empire, a culture that basically spanned most of the earth at some time. This yellow area here is Tartaria. So you can see at this point it was like Russia, China, India, the Middle East into Europe. And these are all the Tartarian people around the outside. And here you go, Tartaria. So Tartaria was basically, it's, from my point of view, a recent advanced civilization that has been hidden from us. And you may ask, why would it be hidden from us? Well, the reason it's been hidden from us is, I think the main reason is it was a free society and it had free energy. And of course, when energy is free, you can't charge people for it, right? So it wasn't conducive to the current power structure, because what the current power structure want is basically for us to pay to live on the earth. Okay, but back in time, all cultures were connected, and it was free. There was no money. Like, everything wasn't for money. Everything was for humans. And so there was free energy. There was, free cultural exchange. And the thing about Tartaria is they built all the buildings that we see across our realm, all the government buildings with the big domes, with the columns out the front. They are the same in every country. We have them here in Australia, where I am. Definitely have them in America. Look at the White House. They are all through Europe. And you can find them in Africa, all throughout Asia, on islands, in the Bahamas and the Caribbean, and just places that these things shouldn't have been able to be built. We find these massive buildings that all have very similar architectural features, the columns, the domes, the porticos, all these, the arched windows. And many of them are also what we would call mud flooded. It's like they've been flooded by mud. They have windows that pop up in sidewalks, right, at street level. And you can see this. Any old world city, like basically any city where the old buildings are made of brick, you will see this. You will see windows that are at ground level, which makes no sense. And when you look into this further, what you find is that those windows have big underground floors, and then even floors underneath them that go down. We have entire streets that are covered. They call them undergrounds, right? And these undergrounds are in various cities across the world. Many of them have them that you can actually go down and look at. And you go underground and you'll find shops, shop fronts, roads that are all there. And they have been literally covered up with a new level, because at some point in our recent history, there was a catastrophe, a reset. And guess what, guys? As our friend Klaus, the bug eater, would like us to understand, we're in the great reset right now. We're in another reset. And resets are cyclical, and they come around, and it's basically the earth. The earth is changing. We get different earth events, like we're seeing in all these auroras. They're being seen all over the place. There's weird stuff in the sky. There's all these storms, right? Most of those probably geo-engineered, but there's a lot of changes going on in Earth. So what I really want to talk about tonight, that's just a quick introduction, is star forts. So let me actually hope that I can change screens here as we work this out. Let's see what happens. So 1 minute, I just need to get back to my star forts, and I'll see now. I don't know if you can see that. How do I find this out? Hang on 1 sec. I'm going to stop sharing, and hopefully Elizabeth is still there.
I am. If it's a different document, then
Okay.
the link.
So I've got a few different folders, so I shall just do this again. Share screen. Okay, so here we go. This is a star fort. Now, this is what got me really, well, this is what really blew my mind, right? When I found out about star forts. This one here is in India. Okay, 7-pointed star fort, and you can see why they call them star forts. Now, in the mainstream narrative, they will call them bastion forts, but the truth is they're not forts at all. They've basically labeled all of these stars as forts. This one's a bit more circular. This is a machine, by the way, just so you know, but we'll get into that. These star forts are everywhere. One of the features that you see everywhere, apart from the angular design, is the moats. Right, these all have moats, or at least had. This one here is from Spain. Okay, again, looking very machine-like, isn't it? And this one is up on a hill as well. You can see that it's been buried. More star forts, but basically they have moats everywhere around them. And this is what we were told. I've been to this one. This is Novi Sad in Serbia. So I've been to that star fort. It's very, very cool. But the story they told me about it was very confusing, shall we say, because what they try and do is make these all about war, right? All about war. And as you see, basically what they tell us is that these angular designs, they call these ravelins, these pointy bits, and they tell us that it was built in this design to deflect cannonballs. So basically what they say is, there were people out here with cannons and they shot, and because this wall was on an angle, it deflected the cannonball. And that's seriously the story, guys. Very strange. But what you will see with this star fort, apart from its, design, which we'll get into soon, is in the middle. We have this, a very big cathedral, okay, with a massive spire coming off it and a dome at the back. Now, these cathedrals are part of this star fort. Because what this is not a fort. This is not about war. This is not about men killing men and all this division and everything else that, those who wish to rule us want us to believe we are. There's nothing to do with that. This is a free energy device as far as I can work out. And by the way, guys, these star forts are all over the world. They are everywhere. On Google Map at the moment, I've marked more than 5,000 of them, and they are all throughout Europe, the Americas, Asia, Australia has them. Yes, we do. Africa, islands like Malta, the Caribbean, they're everywhere. They are everywhere. And this is a good shot. This is Naarden. This is in the Netherlands. And this is a moat, right? This is a moat going around the outside and here as well, right? This is the moats we were taught about at school. Remember the king and the castle? But it was always a square castle, wasn't it? With a drawbridge going over a moat. Well, this is a true moat. This is what the moats are. This is what we see. This is what we have proof of. And as you can see, these star forts, well, let's call them stars, right? Because they're not actually forts. What they actually are, in my opinion, is they are Cymatic architecture. And you can see this has a whole town inside it. Okay, so these are big. They're big. And the story we're told, there's some good moats for you, look at that, is that these star forts, or these stars, started in Italy and France back in the 1500s, the mid 1500s. And basically, it was a new design of fort, and they were called bastions, and there was this group of builders, masons maybe, not the free ones, but stone masons, who travelled Europe and built these forts for everyone for like 200 years until the mid 1700s, and then they stopped because basically weaponry, right? The cannon was superseded, so these were no longer needed with their angular walls to deflect the cannonballs, which is just a very silly story, right? But here's another moat. This is what they tell us, built between, about basically for 200 years, mid 1500s to mid 1700s. But the problem is, like I said before, we find these star forts and here's a very irregular one. None of them are the same shape, by the way. They're all irregular. But there's star forts in the Americas and in Australia. Okay, but we're told that these were all, they stopped building them mid-1700s. Okay, America was discovered, Australia was not. The ones in Australia are a bit, decrepit, they're not in the best shape. But with this one, you can see that this is a shape that radiates out, a little bit like an energy signature, right? And I believe that's what these are. This one's in Ireland. All right, they all have these pointy raven bits to deflect the cannonballs, apparently. And this is the classic star shape for obvious reasons, right? And there's many of these, and you can see the moat here. This one, I believe that's Japan. That's just a snapshot I took on Google Earth. So what are these? Well, frequency, sound, vibration. This is what we are. Okay, if you look into quantum physics, they will tell you that everything is vibration, everything is frequency, and basically we're frequency. The world is made up of frequency, different vibrations, and this is in our language, right? I just wasn't on the same level with them. I didn't vibe with them, or we just didn't sync. You're talking vibration, right? And so this is a cymatic shape. So this is basically when they have a bowl of water and they play a frequency of music through it. And this one here, 432 hertz. This one here, 528 hertz. Now you may have heard of these frequencies before. These are both solfeggio frequencies. And look at the shapes of them. This is literally what happens to the water. You just literally get a bowl of water and you play frequency and you get these patterns just appear. Because frequency, all frequencies have a pattern, like a geometric pattern. They have a color, they have a sound, and no doubt many more incarnations, shall we say. So to me, after looking in and studying star forts and wondering what they are and what they were originally built for, because just if you are new here, they claim they built all these star forts, right? The governments, all these people who went out and founded countries, right? Like Australia, and they founded cities in America. They found them. They found them. They weren't founded. They were found. They found their free masonry, shall we say. And so these are basically cymatics. These are frequencies, and these are frequencies that are good for us, that enhance things like this that you can see, right? DNA repair. Okay, it's good for chlorophyll, it's good for the bees, the 528s. And the Earth frequency, the frequency of Earth is actually 432 hertz. Okay, but you can see, especially in the 528, right? But both of them, this star shape and this symmetry. And then we get these things built all over the place. And always around water or with moats, close to water or with moats around them. Now, what is water? What do we call water when it's flowing? The flow of water is called a current, right? A current. Exactly the same as an electrical current, right? Electricity flows in currents, so does water. So this is a clue that these stars were not built for war, apart from their silly story, right, about the cannons. These are about current. These are about energy. These are about free energy from the ether. This is what they were doing. So there are star forts, like I said, everywhere. This is in Japan. And I'm guessing this is in cherry blossom season, right? But this is Japan. Like I told you, the story is that these were built between the 1550s and the 1750s. How did Japan get one? Okay, Japan was not open to the Western world until, checking my memory, it was around 1810, 1820, but definitely after 1750. Okay, but yeah, they have a star fort. A star. Let's call them stars. Here we have another one. This is the same, actually, in Japan. It's called Fort Goryakaku. Okay, they always have to call them forts. But do you know what else they call these forts? They call them batteries, right? Batteries that I guess save the current, right, of the water flowing around them. This is the citadel of Alessandria in Italy. So these things are so intricate and amazing. Now this is a map. This map is from the 1700s and it's the citadel of Liege, right? The Liege citadel. And as you can see, this is connected to a city. You can see these walls down here with the same kind of design, right? This angular, pointy design, spearheads almost coming off, and the water there. We even have another little star settlement here. Okay, so these things, there's another one. This is the Citadel of Oradea in Romania. So these are all over the place. This is the Citadel Vauban. Okay, on the water again, multi-layered too. You can see with this one, we can see down to the third layer. So I talked about the buildings, Tartaria, right, with the windows at street level, and that we've had some kind of mud flood or inundation. You can see this on all the star forts because most of them, this is all we're seeing is the top layer. But there are actually multiple layers of all these stars, this cymatic frequency. And of course, the Statue of Liberty in New York City sits on a star. Did you know? Eh? So this is a technology from the old world, the previous advanced civilization that has been taken over and usurped by those who wish to rule us. And we'll just call them that. Maybe we'll call them elites. Don't call them rulers though, because rulers need subjects and you don't want to be subject to that kind of stuff. This is in the Netherlands as well. This is Naarden again. You can see the symmetry here, like they're so perfectly built. And you've got to ask yourself, how did they build these? How did they build these so perfectly symmetrical? As far as you can see, this is, you know, I'm not saying it's symmetrical as in a circle or square, but these are definite geometric shapes that have been formed. How did they do this in the 1700s or the 1500s is when the first ones were built? Apart from, you know, the building, that where did they get all the materials and the manpower? How did they get it all to this spot? How did they dig all these, what do they call them, moats and man-made canals? And how did they connect up the water systems, you know, in the 1500s? Something that is really, we could not build this today. So it's kind of a laughable story, but this is what they do with history. Of course we did it. Of course we did it. And they tell us all these stories. Now, just want to point out that in the middle of this star, we get this. Now, this is the cathedral. The cathedral. Now, many people have put forward the notion, because you can see how big that is, right, compared to all these other buildings, that a cathedral may be an adapted name for a cathode. A cathode, as in a cathode and an anode, as in electrolysis, as in the transfer of energy and electricity. All right, I just need to now grab my next folder of images, and what we will go into now, we'll have a look at a few old maps just to show you guys that these have been around forever. So I just need to share the screen again. This is, I've been to this one as well. This is in Italy. This is called Palmanova. Excuse me. This is a star city, a star. You can see it's all red brick buildings and it's a complete star. Now this one actually goes down a lot further. Interesting symbols. We have a griffin here. Probably not the best picture. And of course they have conquered it, right? And claimed it with the cross. So these are all maps from basically around, you know, 1700s. This is what they were building back then, guys. Look at this. And of course we're told that these are all, you know, again, built by us. Look at this with a big crown on it. All right, this is New Brisage. Look at that. And this is what our cities used to look like. All of our cities, the old world, you know, the cities, not the new world, the communist cities and the wooden cities, but the old red brick masonry cities, they were all star cities. as you can see here, we have the star, which they often call the citadel. That's probably where they got the word city from too, by the way. The citadel, which, I mean, look at that shape. This was built in the 1500s, guys, they tell us. But you can see the wall around the city. There's another star, a bit of a star at the corner there. Another one exploding out here. And these big dark bits, you can see with the corners, these are the cathedrals. And you always see the cathedrals in these star cities because, again, it's a free energy system. And what it is, it's based on cymatics. Here's another one, right? Star up here, massive oversized cathedrals. You can see the size of this cathedral compared to all the houses around it. There's another one here. There's another couple here, or they may be just towers, but there's another one up here. And see how oversized they are compared to all the other buildings? Why is that? Why do you think that could be? Here's a map, nice map of a star city. The reason that the cathedrals are oversized, and this is an old shot, right? Look at this, a star, and look at the depth of it. Now, this is from an old book from the 1500s. I'm not sure if that's a date. But yeah, basically, we're looking at a world that's been inundated and covered up, right? We've literally got meters of extra soil, extra terra put across the realm and all the cities. Everything has been covered up. So literally all of our stars that we can still see may be this big, but the Earth has come in and swallowed up all the bases of them. This is a star city. This is a castle in Italy, it says, from around the 1700s. But again, you can see the star-shaped wall. This one's got a moat, right, around it. And then we have the star-shaped wall here, another moat. And in the middle, massively oversized cathedrals with spires reaching up to the heavens. And out here, we have our star. So what does all this mean? What is this? This is a buried star, but this is some of the stuff we have out there that have been so buried and abandoned and left to the nature and the elements and all this kind of stuff, that this is what some of them look like. So these things are literally everywhere. We don't know how many there are. We haven't found them all. Here's another one. Okay, this is, I think this one is in America, the USA. I can't remember exactly. Now this is France, the Citadel de Lille. You can see how big this is, how many layers down, how many levels down it goes. And this exploding kind of electric kind of look to it. Okay, so you may have heard of ley lines. This is Barcelona, right, with a big wall around it, big star wall. All right, over down here, whoops, that was the wrong way. Sorry, guys. Down here is the star. Barcelona, a walled city. This is what the city looked like from the ocean. And that, I know that's, sorry, it's a bad image, but you can see all these towers and spires rising up into the ether. And this is what science has got wrong. Science does not consider the ether as an element. They say there's 4 elements, right? Earth, water, fire. What's the other one? Earth, water, fire. Sorry, but they don't include ether because they don't want us to know that the ether, which is basically the atmosphere, the air, it's full of energy. And basically, the higher you go up into the atmosphere, the more energy there is, the more current there is. And that's what these stars are with their cathedrals. They are energy harvesting machines. Here's another walled city. This is Amsterdam in the 1700s. I'm actually going to be in Amsterdam in a couple of weeks. I'm going to see if I can see any remnants of these walls. More walls, more star forts. So this is just to show you that these things have been put on maps forever and they all have this same design. But why? That is the question. So just flick through these things. So I call these star cities because, well, for obvious reasons, right? Guess what this is? This is New Amsterdam in 1660, otherwise known, well, today known as New York. And what do we have here? but a big star. A battery even. Right? And a few other interesting parts about this is a canal. Canals are features of all old world cities. You can see there's remnants up here. This has all obviously been filled in, the other canals, but there were canals everywhere. It's not just Venice, guys, everywhere. As you can see, this again is a star city. See the wall coming down here? And guess what this street is called, by the way? New York, New Amsterdam, as they called it, New York. Oh, by the way, here's Statue of Liberty. Now look at this star. Ever heard of the Mandela effect, guys? Just as a side note, look at this. This is the Statue of Liberty. Look at the star. Do you remember the photo I showed you of the Statue of Liberty today? It was literally like a symmetrical star, wasn't it? I think it's a 11-pointed one. This is a different foundation, but that's a whole nother story. This is the star, New York, right? And what do they call this street, right? With the wall on it? They call it the single or Wall Street. Wall Street. Wall Street in New York City is called Wall Street because that's where there's a wall of this walled star city went. That's where Wall Street comes from, guys. Yes, you didn't know. Here's some more plans. And these citadels, stars, walled cities, whatever you want to call them, they were everywhere, everywhere. This is Antwerp. Okay, and you can see this amazing star. Okay, this is a really good map, this one. We've got the moats, we've got the star city. And of course, if we zoom down, we will find large cathedrals. Okay, probably not the easiest to see on this, not the best. I say the most pixels you've ever seen, but this is what all cities were. And how long are we talking? How long ago were cities like this? Did they look like this with these amazing? Look at the levels on this one. Okay, this is the citadel of, I'm not sure how to say it, Lisle, L-I-S-L-E in Italy. This is the star city with all these starbursts coming off it. All energy. This is all energy signatures. This is what every city used to look like. Now, was it walled to keep out invaders? That's what they would tell us. But what's another word for a wall? For something that surrounds something? A circuit, maybe. A circuit. Geez, have we ever heard the word circuit in something to do with electronics, maybe? It's a circuit, like a circuit board. So these cities were literally macro boards. They weren't macro chips. They weren't microchips, they were macro. Okay, they're circuit boards, but on the macro scale, designed to enhance humans. Unlike our system today that is built off predatory practices. How do we parasite off the humans? How do we suck as much out of them as we can? In the past, it was how much the whole society was built on how much can we enhance humanity, right? And their natural born energies and skills. How do we tap in? How do we, heal ourselves, or at least hit a place where we never are sick and have dis-ease because we've got the good frequencies, right? The 432, the 528, all these different frequencies, solfeggios, okay, frequency generators. And that there's so much information out there that these different frequencies heal us. This is how we're supposed to be healing ourselves, okay? Not with the current medical system that we have, pharmaceuticals. Okay, where does big pharma, where does that word come from? Pharmaceutical. It comes from a word that is pharmakia. You can look it up, pharmakia, which basically means to cast spells, witchcraft, like magic. That's what they're using on us. When we used to have a civilization that was set up to enhance us, to make us better, to make us more of who we are meant to be. This is the citadel at Plymouth. Okay, you can see here, like again, a big star city on the water. So these things were absolutely everywhere. I just put this in just to sort of show it's probably not the this image. But look at the size of these spires. This is a walled city. Big spires, right? Just popping out. Massively oversized cathedrals. What we're told are cathedrals. And of course, you know, this subject there's so many different avenues I could go down, but it's a very, very big subject. So I'm going to stick to the stars today. So again, I just need to change my images. So I'll be back in 1 second. What do we want to have a look at? Well, we want to have a look at Cymatics. So go. Hello to everyone in chat. Thank you for joining us here. This, yes, the Tartaria Conference live stream is going to be going for hours as far as I know. So thank you everyone for your comments. I can see them now. Someone said they can't see. That's not good. All right. Okay. I'm sharing screen. Sharing screen. What are we looking at? I think we're looking at this. So this image we saw before, 432, 528 hertz. All right. Star forts. Okay. Stars. Cymatics architecture. This one, this is Fort McHenry, and this is in the USA. It shouldn't be there, according to the mainstream narrative, because again, right? They said they stopped building these stars in the 1750s. This, they say, they built in the 80s for the Civil War, no doubt. Of course, it never saw any battle. None of these stars ever did. Now, this is Fort Jefferson. This is a star fort. Well, sorry, it's a star. I'm saying 40. It's a star citadel. It's approximately 200 miles off the Florida Keys, in the Gulf of whatever you want to call it, right? Mexico, America. But I find this an interesting picture because this has a moat. This has a moat, right? And it's obviously in the ocean. Now, they tell us that they built this, again, for the Civil War, right? To defend, you know, the Gulf states from invasion, from who I don't know. I don't know who they thought were invading, like the North were coming through the. So it's a weird story. They all are. But the thing is, this is in the ocean. Now, what would you do if you were sailing through the ocean to attack someone and there was a fort in the ocean? What do you think you would do? I'm pretty sure you would just sail around it, just outside of the cannonball range. And that would make this as a fort completely unusable, like silly. It's clearly not a fort. Clearly. Now, this is an image from an oscilloscope. So this is where you play frequencies through a device called an oscilloscope, and it gives you a geometric image of that frequency. Any similarities there? This is, again, Palmanova star fort. Now, this is a cymatic shape. This is what you get when you play frequency through water. Okay? That's a star. Here's another one. This is a female saying you. Okay, the female human vowel you gives you this shape. All right. So if we look at, let it go this, Palmanova, looks like this, cymatic. So we have ley lines all through the world. And I believe that these stars are built on the nodes where these ley lines cross, where there is an energy vortex, right? And they are basically representing these frequencies, these cymatics. Again, this is a frequency played through water. This is what appears. Now, these diagrams show the paths traced by Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn as seen from Earth. Okay, Venus. Got a star in the middle. Mars, very similar to some of the biggest stars. Jupiter, Saturn. So these are all, these are what we call orbits, right? They tell us the orbits of the wandering stars, or planets, as they teach us, they're called. Now these are the frequencies, okay? So this is 345 hertz, 1033. You can read it. I won't go through them all, but you can see these shapes, okay? We saw lots of stars of this shape. Okay, and all these other shapes. And as you can see, as the frequency rises, the images, the geometry that's created gets more complex. This is the geometry of musical scales within circles. So you can see here we've got, sorry, it's not the best three, but basically they've overlaid all the different musical scales, and look what they get. The star type geometry. So this is all interconnected. These stars are amplifiers of natural earth energies. Again, this is through water. This is through water. There are three classic, yes, I'll read this out. There are three classes of people: those who see when they are shown, and those who cannot see. Or as my mother used to say, those who see what's going on, no, what is it? Sorry, those who make things happen, those who see things happen, and those who wonder what the hell just happened. So here we have different frequencies. Now, so what we have here is, these are all ancient calendars. Okay, this is the ancient Mayan calendar. I'm not sure what that one is, Hindu, I think. And another one down here, the ancient religious calendars, it's calling them now. These are windows from cathedrals. They call these rose windows, okay? Similar. These are cymatic frequencies from the human voice in the blue here. These are the mathematical constants of physics. Okay, this is spirograph. Okay, this is our DNA over here, DNA, top-down view. Okay, we're starting to see some similarities here. Everything is frequency. Everything is frequency. Vortex maths. There's this all to do with numbers. This, it looks like a torus with an inertia field. Here's another torus here, DNA. This is the world we live in. We live in a world of frequency. But what was happening with the old world is they had harnessed this frequency. They had learned how to harness the energy and the frequency and use it for the benefit of all mankind. Okay? Us. Which, interestingly enough, when we stand with our arms and legs apart, we kind of look like a star. Some more cymatics. This one is sand on like a medium, like a drum skin, and they play the frequency through it. You get these shapes. Oh, hang on, there's a video. These are snowflakes. Snowflakes. And here's some more. All right, some more cymatics. All right, sorry, one minute. Sorry, everyone watching, I'm not on the screen. Are you there, Elizabeth? Hello, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, I just need to get up for 2 minutes. I'll be right back in 1 sec.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I was absolutely busting to go to the toilet, but I'm back. I bet you're all relieved, just like I am. Okay, so where were we? Cymatics. So yeah, this is the patterns we get. Okay, so as we saw, these patterns are the same everywhere in snowflakes, in music. Here we have cymatics, music, frequency played. Here we have cathedral windows, also called rose windows. And the cathedrals I would love to get into, but I don't have enough time today, but they are an intricate part of this free energy system. The cathedrals with their big spires going up into the ether, right, where we know it's proven that the energy gets higher the higher you go up in the atmosphere. Okay, these windows always placed over the old organs in cathedrals. Now, that's an interesting word, isn't it? Organ. I wonder what that could be good for. Your organs, maybe? Sound frequency. Cathedrals also had choirs, the human voice. And what do we see in this image back here? But the human voice, is this the one? You know, the frequency of the human voice. This might be the wrong slide, sorry, but we did see it. And so it's sound. It's frequency. That's why these cathedrals, cathodes, whatever they are, and I don't believe that these were built when we're told they were built. I don't believe that they were built for religions. I don't believe that they were built to worship anything outside of us. I believe that they were healing centers. Okay, and that's why it was all about sound, choirs, organs, okay, all this frequency, the cymatic windows, the rose windows, okay, all of this stuff, the spires going up into the air, even, excuse me, the floors in these cathedrals have cymatic shapes built into them. They're healing. I just see them as machines these days, as far as the big cathedrals, churches, all these buildings, they're machines. They're machines. Now, I'm just going to say, oops, here's a short video showing you a bit about sound. And this is basically, you can see it's made up. I'll turn the sound up a little bit and you can see, maybe I'll turn it down. I think I'm a better comment. See, look at this. So he's turning up the frequency and you can see that shape instantly changes. Okay, so it's the frequency that creates geometry, not the other way around. Okay, so how do they really design these stars, these cathedrals? That's a whole other story. But here you see, okay, it's a plate with sand on it. And as he changes frequency, instantly, the geometry changes. And this is the same geometry that we see in our architecture, in the stars, in the cathedrals, in the rose windows, in our DNA, in snowflakes. Excuse me. But we get the same frequencies from, the planets, the wandering stars, right? See what he's doing here? This is just water. And can you see how it turns into that shape? It's into a spiral just with frequency. Just with frequency. So everything, guys, is frequency. You are frequency. So what do you think, if you're frequency, what would be the best way to heal you, to keep you healthy, to keep you vital and alive? Okay, the way to do that is to alter the frequency that you are. It's not to cut bits out of you. It's not to give you little wonder pills from pharmacia, anything like that. It's frequency. And many people have done the research on frequency, like Dr. Royal Rife, who, of course, after releasing all his findings and his machines and remedies that were built to just enhance people's frequencies and heal them, he was put in jail, of course, right? And so many others like him. We have organ and orgonite, like orgon is the energy, but orgonite. We have all these people that have gone down this path and their findings and their research has been destroyed, basically. And most of the time, the people, the discoverers, the researchers, they're put in jail. If they're not, they're just completely defamed. Okay, and they're put in a position where they basically take the money away, right? And they're in any kind of expertise that they may have gained. They just destroy these people. And we still see this today. It happens all the time, especially with free energy. You can go to free energy devices like cars and motors and all this stuff. It all exists, guys. It all exists, and it always has all existed. But the problem is you cannot charge someone for free energy. And that's the problem. The people who have risen to the control, the people that control us, the people that have taken over the system, they want to make money. They want to keep us down. If they cannot make money off something, then it gets destroyed. That's why we've never had a free energy machine. That's why we've never had a water car. Well, we have had them, but that's why they've never been released to the public. Did you know that we had electric cars in the late 1800s? And these were proper electric cars. They had the chargers. They ran on lead acid batteries. You can go and research this in the late 1800s. And then they wiped it all. Why? Well, you might want to look into the family of Rockefeller, shall we say, and oil. Again, because they couldn't make money. They couldn't charge us. So what these people have done, they have literally stolen the power. The power. And how did they do that? Well, they got us to consent. Because every 3 or 4 years, most people will walk out and go to this little place between the poles called the polling booth, and they will elect people into power. You elect someone into power. Okay? We are doing, the problem is not the people that are trying to lead us astray, the people that are trying to take control. The problem is us following them, because you cannot have a leader without having followers. So this, how we fix this problem, which I get asked all the time, well, how do we get this free energy? How do we get these free devices? How do we, get out of this trap that we're in, the whole monetary system, working for your whole life until you die and all this kind of stuff. How do we get out of it? Who do we have to take down? Well, you don't have to take down anyone. You just have to stop following. Okay, we need to come together as people and understand that it's not us, it's not our neighbors, it's not the man down the street, it's not the person in the other country that is our enemy. The enemy is not us, it's the power structure. And all they do is manipulate us and create division so that we fight each other. And that's how they are still on top and in control, because they blindside us with all this stuff and get us to focus on all this crap and tell us that, no, we're not the problem. We're trying to help you. Look at this new drug we just made for you. Look at this computer. Oh, now you can wear VR. Oh, look at AI. You can spend your whole life living in your apartment and never have to leave. Come to our 15-minute city. It's just for you. This is what they tell us. They are not helping us. Guys, this has been going on for hundreds of years. There has never been a leader, a president, a prime minister who has made anything better. Do they promise better things? Of course they do. Of course they do. Do they deliver? No. Never. I've asked so many people, just give me one. Just give me one example of one leader, okay, that made things better, and they can't. And why? Because they never have. Okay, this on the screen now, this is the work of Dr. Emoto, who was a Japanese scientist, and he started doing work on water. And what he would do is he would get water into a vessel, a glass or a bottle, and he would give it intentions. He would either speak an intention, and that would be like the word love. He would speak it to this and project his love into the water. Or sometimes they just wrote the word and stuck it to the bottle. Okay, and when they did this, they tried it with everything. So this is the water, how water looked when he wrote disgusting. This is how it looked when he wrote love. I remind you of anything? This is what happened when he wrote evil. So definitely worth looking into the work of Dr. Emoto. Water crystals. This is another one. I'm not sure what the intention was there, but obviously a nice one. Power of words. This is speaking eternity to water and then freezing it and looking at the water crystals. This is what you get. And so this is why I believe that stars are good energy. They're cymatic representations of the natural earth energies, and they were made to project and enhance and amplify these good energies, these well-being energies that did not cause dis-ease, they caused ease, right? Eternity. Here's another one. Thank you. The power of words. And I'd also just like to mention, guys, that you're at least 70% water. Okay, so what do you think happens when you tell yourself things like you're disgusting, you're evil, I hate you? Many of us say this. This is what happens when you love yourself. Excuse me, a little bit of cough. This is what happens when you tell yourself you are beautiful. Now, this is going on inside your body every day, guys, with every thought that you think to yourself. So what would you rather be? Would you rather be a star? Love and gratitude. Thank you. Aloha. Mahato. You are beautiful. Happiness. Harmony. All right. Love for humanity. Truth. This is the geometry we want in our bodies, our bodily fluid, bodily water. This is what we want. We want to be stars. Okay. Again, compassion. Thank you. Wisdom. And look down here. Heavy metal music. Not looking good. I will kill you. Not looking good. You fool. Okay, how many times, guys, and be serious, have you said things like this to yourself? You're a fool. You're silly. What did you do that for? All right. On the end here, we have water before and after a Buddhist prayer. So this is before the Buddhist prayer. This is after. All right. So this is going on inside your body every day. So I would ask you all to be nice to yourself. Oh, that was me. Snowflakes, right? It's the same pattern, right? This is a mandala, okay, drawn by Buddhists and Hindus alike. Again, any similar features we're looking at here? Rose windows, okay, and you can see, look at this organ. The organ is underneath it. Look, putting the frequency into this window that will then project it through frequency and color out into the populace to keep them healthy. Another mandala, same thing, guys. Everything is frequency. Here's another window with another organ. Okay, want to heal your organs? This is a better way to do it than taking pharmaceuticals. Here's another one. Here's another one. And of course, these look, you know, like the stars, right? Like the snowflakes, like the cymatics. This is another cymatic. This is through an oscilloscope. Okay, it's all frequency, guys. It's all energy, and that's what you are. And your voice is powerful. This is a fish. This is a puffer fish. This is a puffer fish nest. This is what they make. They create this through fucking their fins, I think, to attract mates. Again, same thing. That's a cymatic pattern. All right? So this is the world we live in. It's a world of frequency. Oh. Okay, a world of frequency. All the same. All the same. There's your organ. There's your cymatic, representing a certain frequency, a healing frequency. All right, want to get close to God? Want to get close to the Creator? You'll feel the Creator's energy if you go and spend time in one of these cathedrals, especially if you can find one with the organ still in there, because they've ripped most of them out. Okay, more snowflakes. It's all the same story, no matter where you look. Some more star thoughts for you. All right, guys, so that's me about done. This is back in Japan. We'll go through the rest of these. Another oscilloscope. This is looking very similar, right, to the star that we saw that was in India. This one just shows you how big these stars actually are, right, how much has been buried of them. And all cities are star cities, guys. Oh, and crop circles. Cannot go further without mentioning crop circles, right? Crop circles. And what are crop circles? Well, crop circles are geometric patterns created by frequency. There is a video if you want to go and search it. I'm going to put up on my channel soon, Autodidactic on YouTube. Please check me out. Follow me if you like the content. But these are created by these little orbs that spin around, and then this cymatic is suddenly here. Those little orbs, they're energy. They're plasma energy, high frequency energy, and they are just, again, creating a cymatic pattern, an energetic signature on the ley lines, right? The natural earth currents of the world. These are the planets, stars, Sirius, Earth, sun tones, Mercury tones. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing, guys. Cymatic scales in music, piano notes, okay? It's all the same thing. So there you go. That is the end of my presentation. Hope you enjoyed it. Welcome to the Tartaria Conference 2025. There's going to be some amazing speakers coming up on talking on all different, parts of this research that we've been doing into the old world, into what a lot of people call Tartaria. So you're going to hear from some amazing speakers. So please do stick around, check it all out. Send this link out to your friends, guys. Get more people in to watch it. Let's share this information because the world is waking up and we are frequency, right? The way to change your world is to change the way that you think about it. So thank you for listening. My name's Cambell from Autodidactic. Hope you have a fantastic day and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you, Cambell. That's brilliant. That was such an amazing presentation. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so I'm going to let you go. I've got Charles waiting in the waiting room, ready to come in. But thank you so much. That was just incredible. Really incredible. All right.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
having me.
Lovely evening. Bye.
See you, everyone. Bye.